Where's the router at in here?
RB's office. Actually connected to, not where I connected, RB. Like that.
So that's where you'd have to run a wire from.
Me and Jamie was talking the other day, they go and get that fiber over here.
Starting to expand that fiber network out quite a bit. Matter of fact, it's over there where you live, Dale. They got fiber internet over there now. At your house. High-speed internet.
We getting that tri-county stuff at the house.
They probably don't need it. I have that Tri-County at home. And it is better than Fairpoint, but we're having issues that still want to like when it loads.
Oh, it better not do that, like my wife is gonna have a ball with them if it does.
I know, I thought I'll have to call them. I can't remember the other night, we couldn't even watch TV, it wouldn't even let us watch it, just kept spinning. Finally, about 30 minutes later, it started working.
We got a supposedly best package for the house through Fairpoint or whatever it is over there now. It's supposed to be the best, fastest package and it does all right, but it's not what it should be.
Fiber's fine as long as you don't bend it too sharp or crimp it, or if you do any of that, it's like coax. You remember that, if you crimp coax or bend it too sharp, it'll mess it up. Fiber's the same way.
Yeah, I figured something must have happened the other night, knocked the line down and it sort of interrupted us a little bit or something.
That's gonna be one of the bad things too.
Yeah,
The storms coming through. Right now, we still have internet there at the house.
yeah.
Whether we had power or not, we run our generator.
By the way, I think I need to keep on copy of these. All right,
Yep, we are. You ready?
what's in such a hurry for?
I'm reading an email, I'm reading a voicemail. Right, Danny. I'll call the city council special meeting to order for December 16th, 2024. Remind everybody to silence their cell phones. Ms. Naomi, lead us in prayer.
Father, thank you for this day, for your love and protection and provision. Thank you for this time set aside to make decisions affecting the citizens of Perry. Help us to do right by them and right by one another. In Christ's name I pray, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, ma'am.
Councilmember Grimes?
Yes.
Councilmember Hampton? Councilmember Woodfall? Vice Mayor Landry? Mayor Pitkin?
Here. Anybody from the general public here to speak? I don't guess. Here, no one will go to general business. Agenda item 7A, staff to present the ranking of firms responding to the RFQ for grant administration to the council. The council will take any action deemed necessary. Hi there.
Let's start.
Yeah.
We did the rankings on Friday. The thing was Bill Grimes, John Hart, Danielle and Carly. There were two firms for the grant admin, there's North Florida Professional Services and Easton. We ranked them based on administrative experience, proposed approach, past experience with rural communities, qualifications of project staffing and their fee. The total rankings for North Florida Professional Services was 85, and for Andy Easton was 100. So that the team recommends to the council to enter into contract with Andy Easton.
Have any discussion on it?
No, I agree with it.
Motion, we accept y'all's recommendation.
Second.
But James Woodall.
Mhm.
Councilmember Rhines.
Yes.
Councilmember Hampton.
Yes.
Councilmember Woodball.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry.
Yes.
Mayor Kitchen.
Yes. Agenda item 7B. Staff to present the ranking of firms responding to the RFQ for state lobbying services to council. And council will take any actions deemed necessary.
Again, we have the same team for the rankings. The 5 firms that submitted, I replied back to the RFQ. Anfield Consulting, Greenberg, Drawrig, Johnson and Blanton. Southern Group. And the last firm is Mark Anderson, governmental consultant. Again, we ranked them on 3 factors. First one was qualifications, second one was experience, and the third one was technical approach. Firm A was Anfield, they had a total score of 80. Greenberg, Traurig had a total score of 80. Johnson and Blanton had a total score of 90. Southern Group had a total score of 85. And Mark Anderson, governmental consulting, had a total score of 100. So that the group recommends that we enter into negotiations with Mark Anderson.
Motion.
Anderson, because we wouldn't be in competition with anyone else.
Mhm.
Someone, he'll be loving for the city.
He know what he doing.
No.
That's what he said.
Did you second?
That was-
Mr. Rhines?
Mhm.
Okay, I was just make sure. Councilmember Rhines.
Yes.
Councilmember Hampton.
Yes,
Councilmember Woodball.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry.
Yes.
Mayor Kitchen.
Yes. Agenda item 7C.
Before we move on, I'm trying to think of a way to speed the process up. We're gonna discuss the fee with him. If his fee is below a certain number, we need to go ahead and enter into contract with him so we get started. I don't want to wait till January 14th. I think our next meeting will be.
No.
Yeah, it'd be a little late.
Because appropriation forms have to be put in by like February 14th. And I think when I contacted one of the lobbyists that I met at the Florida Legal Cities, he was saying it's best to get it in by the 1st.
Okay.
And so although the sessions don't officially start till March, the committees will start are meeting now. So
That's already
depending on
moving.
how the lobbyists,
Yeah,
I mean, most of them start in January hard,
Mhm.
but depending on the lobbyist schedule, you know, you are right about having the decision made way before our next meeting. Or it doesn't have to be way before, but as much as you can.
Yeah, get it done.
So what do we need to do?
I would say if we agree on a price less than, like retainer less than 4,000 a month, that y'all allow me to,
That's a lot.
it's gonna be around 3,000, whoever you go with.
I know about 3. Yeah.
are we going to have them year round? I know I heard Bill say 6 months.
They're all structured based on a yearly retainer.
they just spread it out over the year.
Now, that's for the retainer.
That'll be their total fee,
It is.
The
Okay.
total fee,
their total monthly fee. They're not gonna
oh,
charge
the
you,
total monthly fee.
they're not gonna charge you anymore for driving up to Tallahassee on your behalf, for coming down to these meetings or anything like that.
Okay.
At this point, I feel like I will risk being totally out of order because of contacts that have called. And I didn't know if I was gonna make it or not, because I had a dental appointment, a pretty big one today. But I sent everyone the email, you probably haven't seen it because in the last 15 minutes. And I'm just gonna share this, it may not change anything, and legally it may not be able to change anything. But there were 2 people that contacted me since, well, one was this morning. And that person has nothing to do with anything regarding who's selected, but had said that they had called the office and wanted to volunteer in any way that they can. And our phone call got disconnected this morning regarding, I guess, everything up to contract negotiation. So I don't even know if that's a viable person. But they said that they left a message with John. I don't know that John would have gotten it or I've seen it yet. But the first person had left a message with me Thursday. I was able to get to him Friday. And he said also that he had left a message with the city manager. And this is the part I'm saying I don't even know if it's viable because this person said they were not aware of the RFQs that went out. But I feel like I'd have to at least share the information because I hate for it to come back on me. Is that their firm, and I'm sorry, I'm having to look at the same email I just sent everyone. But that they're knowing that Perry was in a crisis situation and having connections, and saying they didn't know there was RFP, that having connections to Taylor County, I guess, is friends with Angela Ball's son, attorney Angela Ball's sons, and as well as some of the people you work with in what sounds like a very small firm, have connections to Perry, Florida. They were willing to offer a flat $1,000 a month lobbying fee. And they said that was very less than what they normally charge, at least $3,000 to $3,500 is what they would normally charge for city representation. But they felt that they would put that risk in, and I shared with them that we already have had 5 submissions that are being reviewed. And had that being the case, and again, I'm only disclosing by the way of this information may or may not have any impact on the process, but that this person out of the had also said that Mark Anderson was a very viable candidate, and as not that that opinion means anything, I don't know this person, but I do remember meeting him at the Florida League of Cities, and that just as you all have already been told and have, I think, correctly chosen, is that you want to be careful about some of the bigger firms that are definitely inside this legislative process. But the goal for Perry is to make, or that one of the goals for Perry would very well be well done to make sure that we are the priority in this lobbyist mind. And so, you know, and they're putting forth things so that we can get, you know, the biggest bang for the buck. Mention the city of Centerville, that after Hurricane Ian, being a very small place, but also per capita, their residents are really wealthy, received like one of the biggest appropriations in the history of Florida, like $250 million. After one attempt in the legislature, and you know, also rightfully seeing that we probably have the biggest and saddest situation in some ways is that people are familiar with us in the state legislature. The governor has been familiar with us. And so after sharing that we've already, you know, there's already been submissions, as well as, I'm sorry you didn't know about the RFQ that went out, but you know, that process is going on, and I don't even know that it could be reopened or unless there's a viable reason. And he said, interestingly, like the person who emailed saying they're willing to volunteer, that if there was any need or desire of any consultation regarding contract negotiations, also giving if the council desired it, some maybe assistance, or I don't want to say teaching, but workshopping even what are the factors we want to consider and keeping them accountable to whatever it is, whether it's the firehouse or whatever it is that the city wants to see maximized in this process, even giving maybe ideas of how, or presentation on how, as a body, to help make sure that we get as much as we can, and then a way to keep it accountable, including things I'm sure whoever the lobbyist is selected will do. But I guess this particular, probably easy for me to grab my phone, this particular person who stated they have connections with Taylor County, and that's why they were willing to take such a great decrease in fees, because they said it was actually more of an offering of love, if you would, but that they'll be willing to assist in any kind of way, including, what I just noted, at no cost, consult the city council if they desire it, with maybe ideas, in how to not just maximize the accountability, but even what to potentially consider in contract negotiations.
Well, I had one contact me today.
Was it a woman?
No,
Okay.
anyway, had a person contact me today about doing pro bono work. I think it has something to do, didn't the article hit the papers yesterday?
Well, the person.
Which I guess prompted a lot of the phone calls today. But anyway, I guess there's nothing wrong with having more than one lobbyist if if they're willing to give it away, for free. I mean,
I
I
would
know
say,
people people have teams of lobbyists.
and let me be clear, that's
Or
why I
companies.
included that exchange, well, I included the initial, transcription from the phone call that I received. And I'm having to look back at my email. I don't know that it would be the case that, and I also spoke to him, that's why I was up in City Hall, at 4 o'clock on Friday, trying to get more information. And, I knew that was a risk on a Friday, to see if there was anyone here I could discuss what's the viability of even having that considered. But I don't believe is in contrast to, if you already have a lobbyist, then I don't know that it would be the offer for them to work pro bono as a lobbyist, but that they could possibly work pro bono with helping consult on the city side as to, making, some of that would be crossover, because I'm sure whoever you choose a lobbyist will try to work to make sure your targets are giving you a realistic sense of what your targets are. And I wouldn't want to, as a professional lawyer, I wouldn't want to cross work with another lawyer doing what they're doing, given the little bit of time they have. But maybe I would work on another aspect that lawyer is not working on. And I just want to say that just off the rip, because time is of the essence. And like I said, oh, he did send it. Andrew could tell with the Sunrise Consulting Group. He did send also the workup of the city of Sanibel's legislative request to just give me an idea of how a small town who became better known because of the sadness of all the destruction after Hurricane Ian. And he was just giving me a sample of something to read regarding what happened there. But again, not at all, just want to have it disclosed, just like with any client, even if it's something I don't think is viable or it's too late, it's not my information, it's your information. And I was trying to get more information about what the request was from the other lobbyists, just to have a better sense of today, because I thought that they were coming in for an interview until, thank you for answering the phone on Friday, until I understood that because the committee's already did this, review, that most likely you all would just be voting. So I wanted to say that, and that's why I interrupted before a vote, because I didn't know, I just wanted to make it not know what are those transactions. I don't know. The call I got from Mr. Andrew Khalil was, the voice message was left on Thursday. I got back to him on Friday. So, and I thought he was actually maybe one of the people who had already submitted. So I don't know what article came out that people are referring to. Is it from the Tallahassee Democrat?
And others.
It's a cover of Democrat yesterday.
And it was some other papers too, I couldn't find out.
Sunday is an extra work day for me with 2 churches, but I wasn't aware. So, and the second person who contacted me, or I think, yes. Now I better understand her phrasing. Cause all this was this morning. Her name is Sandra Mortman, and I have not had a chance yet to research her or anything, because I had a dental appointment to get to. But she said, I tried getting through to the city manager, but there was no telephone access. Could you please let him know that I'm trying to reach him regarding appropriations request for the city of Perry and Taylor County? I would like to volunteer to help you. It says he can be reached, so when I reached out to her, I was trying to see if she was calling also on behalf of Mr. Kelman, who had already spoken to me, but the email says he can be reached. He can reach, oh, I'm sorry, he can reach me at, then she gave a number, and Sandra Mortham is her name, and it may just be a private citizen. The email is at AOL.com. So I say with all candor, I haven't had enough time to find out if anything's viable or if it would affect how we move at all. 'Cause it does seem like, especially those two candidates or those two people are open to volunteering their services. I felt I had to let you know about the offer of $1,000 to lobby.
I understand, we just don't know anything about them though.
Right, so I'm
At
not
this
trying to
point.
delay the process, and I know money alone is not the deciding factor. But again, I just felt like I had to disclose that.
Thank you.
Well, I had a call from one of them.
Okay, good.
I did not accept the call, nor did I return the call because it's not appropriate. There's a process that was set out for this department. One of these
RFQ.
groups are in Tampa. And it would first of all be unethical to stop and start over. And it would also be illegal because one of these 3 or 5 could sue you. There's not a legal reason to stop the process and start over.
And I gave you no legal risk, like
And-
I said, as disclosure.
And we don't have the time anyway.
I said it's a point of disclosure.
Well, John could talk with Mark and tell him of the offer that we've had. And if he is open to it, having someone work with him on a volunteer basis, fine. If not, then I'd say no. I would have to be okay with Mark.
I've had several call me too. I'm just questioning why weren't they here today? That should have been the council meeting the day after the hurricane. They
Right.
service like that.
Exactly.
Right.
Now there's something out that we're willing to pay for,
Mm-hmm.
just fishy to me.
Yeah.
And if I needed heart surgery, I'm not going to the doctor that's offering a
Mm-mm.
discount. I
Mm-mm.
want to pay the most money.
Yes, you get what you pay for.
There you go.
Anyways, how much do we think, what kind of limit do we want to set? I think it's the question right now.
Didn't you say 4?
Say under 4.
Under
4 and under, 4,000 and under.
Motion. Okay, we still got one on the floor though.
Mm-hmm. To accept this.
Well, y'all voted
Yeah.
for the lobby.
voted on.
They already
Y'all
voted
voted for the lobby.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
she
why I was
brought
saying
it up
like the
after the
decision
fact.
already was made, but I felt like I needed to
Yeah,
disclose that.
yeah.
As well as the amount of money, because like regardless, I was gonna have to disclose it.
And I appreciate you for doing that because you never know if they may come up into the phone and say, well, I told your lawyer, so you done the right
Like,
thing.
No one
Yes,
told us,
yes,
you know,
yes.
Anyway, is that a motion to go with the $4,000 a month cap or, okay, do I have a second?
I think we need to move along.
We
Second,
do. Vote please,
Councilmember
ma'am.
Grimes.
Yes.
Councilmember Hanson,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodball.
yes.
Vice Mayor Landry.
Yes.
Mayor Fisher.
Yes. Winds up for some odd reason being over that, we need to know pretty quick. Can y'all agree?
Amen.
If it goes above that, then you move on to your second rank.
Nick, mm-hmm.
What the process would be.
That's not right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's true too.
But do we take care of the engine?
We'll take care of that. We'll do that another day.
Oh, okay.
He mentioned in his thing that we did not ask for a dollar amount. When we put out our RFQ, that we did not ask for a dollar amount.
So about the lobbyists,
Yes,
yeah, for RFQs, you don't put a dollar amount. That's
okay.
not part of you're only looking for the
I
highest
noticed.
qualified one and then you negotiate.
Well, I noticed some of them did and some of them didn't, and he specifically mentioned I didn't put a dollar amount because you didn't ask for it.
That's the,
It's okay to put a range or even on the other. side.
Administrator, we ask,
Yeah, for the administrative fee.
Okay,
And the request for proposal. right?
just
Well,
just-
Based on that.
for information, his proposed fee is less by about $20,000 than his budgeted.
good.
Okay.
That's unusual.
What was his proposed fee? What was his proposed fee
88.
80.
in total for how many?
For
Amazing.
the grant admin, till that gets done with, till the grant's done with.
Who we
I'm sorry,
talking
we
about?
switched back.
They're talking
We
about.
sw- Okay, okay, you were speaking regarding the engineers.
No.
The grant.
All right,
I was speaking regarding the lobbyist.
Yes, that's what I thought she was asking.
Yes,
That was, on one hand, someone said there was nothing, and then, okay. So the clarity was that he was not. Mr. Burns, you are not talking about the lobbyist.
okay, agenda item 7C. Council to discuss the traffic light at Center and Green Street and take any action deemed necessary. It is not there.
Whatever else, I'm not looking back up till all these big trucks are gone. All these debris trucks, that's what's hit it 3-4
I
times.
see, we've been doing good without it.
Every time it's up school time. That's the only time it gets backed up, Center Street, turn, you know how it gets.
but it would be backed up anyway.
Then the,
At school, for the school traffic, it would be backed up anyway.
But I think that four-way traffic sign is hard. You have. Are you talking about up there, trying to First Baptist, right?
yes,
Insert.
I've had a lot of people that are for it, mention it to me, they like it. They
Oh,
like
having
it when
four-way
the light
stop?
wasn't there.
Mhm.
I know, I think it was Mr. Brown's last council meeting mentioned even possibly just leaving it a two-way, but
Yeah,
I've discussed it. The only thing with that is Green Street would never get out. Because they would be the stop, like on school mornings, that's when the traffic's heavy on
Mhm.
Center Street. It
yeah,
would be hard for people to get out on Green Street.
well, if you,
they don't-
if you're gonna make it a four-way, you may as well put the light back.
Yeah.
are the buses still coming out of Green Street on the center like they used to?
I think they come out of Maine a lot, but they still do turn on, Green quite a bit.
I see it, I mean, I live right there on, yeah.
Right there
Is
on
that
the
Center
corner.
Street going in front of the, I'm terrible.
Just when they're taking kids to school
Well,
and
it's-
all, they're
oh,
on
yeah.
Green Street a lot.
School board?
Yes.
And then between the school board and the middle school? Is
No,
that Center
that's
Street?
what-
No,
Clark,
Center Street's right back here, right in front of the church.
First Baptist.
First
Yeah.
Baptist.
Yeah, anyway, it's, so what be everybody's pleasure?
Sure, yes.
Always where I would say we keep it.
Keep it a four-way stop?
No, keep the light. Okay. Because in the mornings when you're trying to go to school, you never get out of Green Street. Center, you know how busy Center Street is.
There's a way to set a timer on that thing to come on during school and off during regular hours.
Talking about traffic light?
Yes,
Oh, we don't wanna do that.
we don't.
That really confuses people and
I don't know when to
accidents.
go, when to stop.
Yeah.
So they're flashing, if it's
We
flashing a
had
red
enough
light, they-
trouble trying to keep, we had enough trouble trying to keep that one at the courthouse like that. We don't wanna, I don't want to do it.
Well, I think what I'm hearing from John is that we leave it a four-way stop until the trucks are through. And then we can put the light back up. To put it up now is just inviting the
Yeah.
is
trucks to knock it down again.
there any way to get it up, but high enough where the trucks can't get to it,
You
or?
gotta have it
Well, I
so
mean, we
many
already had it.
area
but-
that high
Yeah,
for
we
people to
already
see
had it
it.
as high as we could get it.
Mhm.
Those, you know,
Is there a
those
minimum,
streets are not made
Mhm.
for those big trucks either, so.
No, that's why they done got them now, but they don't even have them coming in the neighborhoods
Right.
anymore. They got the small
Right.
ones picking it up now.
that's what that's about, that ain't there yet.
Mhm. Mhm.
Below-
They were tearing down too many light poles.
Yeah.
Stop signs,
They
red
were pulling
lights.
down people's power,
Yes.
right?
So FEMA put a halt to that. So they got them on the main highways.
You know, they was hiring anyone with the CDL.
Pretty much.
They gonna do that.
Got an F-250 in the dump trailer.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanna do, just leave it like it is
Yeah, we
till
discuss it. later.
everything gets,
Yeah.
till the big trucks get done. Okay,
My wife was T-bone right there. It wouldn't have, it was four-way stops.
man,
When is school out? Is it out now?
The
The
19th.
holiday.
Next week,
And
isn't it?
this,
They work today.
Wednesday to Thursday, they'll be out for the 2 weeks.
Thursday is the 19th.
Okay.
That was, was it out, what, 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
2, 3, something like that,
2 weeks.
2.
Mhm.
All right,
John, we need to take a vote on it or?
leave it like it is,
Leave
don't
like
worry about
is. Okay.
My wife got T-bone right there last year, and it wouldn't have happened, and it would have been four-way stops like it is now.
Somebody ran the light.
I miss the light. I live on Spring Street, but
It's because we're used to it. But I do know that people talk about traffic flowed better off of, because it was a four-way stop, so they weren't backed up,
Mm-hmm.
but.
If we're keeping it.
I just think people don't know how to use the four-way stop
Yeah.
correctly. So it's like, hey,
Yeah.
I was here first, I'm going and just. that
You have a
type of
lot
thing.
that they'll just sit there.
And then you forget who was second.
anyway, anything else?
If we're keeping it that, way, we need to take a stop order quick.
Anything else?
Yes.
Or the room.
I guess we could always put a traffic cop.
What we used to do,
For the what?
traffic cop,
Doing high volume time.
yeah,
Mhm.
Oh. They short as is.
What?
They're short as is. I'm pretty sure they're not gonna sit there and direct traffic.
There's food resource.
Well, I won't have to put it back up till the bridge trucks are gone, but I'll have him go ahead and order the light. I had to take it off. I can't keep it.
What do they run?
The last one we just replaced was about a little over $7,000.
Mhm.
And that's the one that got hit?
Who's not paying for
Insurance will pay for it. Their insurance.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Said, well, for his time traveling home, it said a little over 7,000.
Wait till you hit that. John, have you been getting a lot of phone calls about food trucks? Did anyone come talk to you about one?
You sure that?
They
Okay,
came into the zoning meeting,
okay.
what's her name?
Tracy?
Is she?
Florence,
is her food
last
truck
name.
called Tracy something?
Uh-huh.
Yes,
So she did talk with him.
well, the Jerkins Leadership Council came in the form of, I can't remember, I'm sorry, I'm still on medicine.
No, you're fine.
Came to ask about having her food truck on their property.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't zoned for that, but they did get permission, special permission once to have, I guess she wanted to set up there. And so she was told that she could possibly
I thought there was a state,
file for
state
it.
thing where they can set up anywhere they want to.
That's what I thought too. So,
It's not-
cause she's been given the runaround and being told that you have to have restaurant license. No.
No, the
So-
zoning code saying they can have it. They can have it anywhere that can have any type of restaurant, like you
Mhm.
don't have to have a restaurant license and all those kind of things.
That is our
And
law.
I was like, it
That's
was
not-
changed.
that's
and
not how that was
discussed
wrote
in our
up.
Meeting, it was changing, I mean, that was discussed early on in our council.
That's only on Highway 19. The rest of the city's fair game.
Well,
That's
not
that was
they
my
were-
understanding.
That's not what they were directed, so.
who's they?
Well, the
The
ordinance
zoning,
is in
Like
black and
I
white,
said, that
isn't
the
it?
laws had changed. And I forgot which zoning person was there,
Mm-hmm.
said,
You talking about the zoning board or,
well, you know, the zoning board and the adjustment board are the same people,
right, I understand that. I
right?
was-
And.
Make sure I said we were talking about.
I'm sorry.
I was making sure I said we were talking about the zoning board.
Yeah, the zoning board, that was a
Okay.
presentation, and then, the newest member, I think is Andy Jackson, after she left, after she left, there was a big discussion not just on her, but even like coming up with the idea of maybe looking at all the zoning areas, period, but particularly, what it seemed like is so many people had questions and we have a clerk. We don't have a director. There's a lot of information that could help people, because it wasn't Tracy and it was the leadership council asking a certain question. And I'm not looking at my notes, so I may be varying a little bit, but just in totality, people don't understand the zoning process. And it's so lean towards someone having to hire, counsel, and you're having a business or just a person of lower means, or like who can really afford an attorney nowadays, they don't know the basic answers, like, or basic questions to even file something requesting it. So, but we're supposed to be talking again about not just that measurement that Andy was talking about, but just the idea of totality looking at the zoning issues and making sure that we're still correct in some of the estimations, because there have been so many laws, like the preemptive one, that the state has changed when it comes to food trucks. But that's what the zoning people, even though it's like, I believe that has changed, I can get back to you all. They were like, no, they still had to be in it still had to be in a place that would allow for a restaurant. You don't have to be a restaurant. And
It could be zoned.
right, and it was comments made at the end of the meeting, and that was comments that were made at the end of that meeting, that particular meeting, and I should know her name, I work with her. Ernestine Mitchell.
Yes,
Came up and
yes.
said, I wanted to ask on behalf, because Miss Tracy was working, about, what it would take, basically. The question was, what would it take to have her truck placed on the property?
Now, I do know all of the food trucks have got to be inspected by the health department. And they're supposed to be inspected by the fire inspector also.
Yeah, I think the question that we left.
They should be.
Do they inspect home cottages as well?
Fire don't.
So they can actually do what they want to do and food trucks can't.
My understanding, any trailer, food truck that is serving the public has got to be inspected by the
That's
health
good.
department and the fire department. Or the fire inspector. Now, there's a bunch of them out here running around here right now that I've never stepped foot in.
Well, we need to be tagging them. John?
Tell Miss Mitchell to get with me.
Did Mr. Jackson think that there was a way
Well,
around it?
he wasn't necessarily saying that there is a way, but he said that he wanted the zoning, and Justin Board to look in the future for ways to either reconsider our entire submission for zoning, because basically I understand from the history of zoning, and I was also presented the history of the local zoning, and it was mentioned in city council meetings, how long ago it's been. And before that, all cities didn't have to submit zoning, but more cities and county, or as I said, to be the cities, submitted because so many grant applications, that was a part of the consideration you had to show, like how your city was zoned. And so the same needs may have changed so drastically over the last 30+ years that maybe some of the zones need to be changed, or inside of the whole city, not just the idea of the few requests that may have come in, like the one that was heard before both the zoning board and the city council regarding mobile homes and where they can be, and things of that nature. So his suggestion was a broad one of, is there any problem with looking at how things are zoned now, if there needs to be a wholesale change? And secondly, like, how can we make it easier for the average citizen to understand the process without the process of requesting the variance, or just the whole process without pulling on the one staff member who's clerking, as well as the need to go get an individual attorney to submit for things like variances or considerations different. So that's supposed to be discussed at the next meeting. And I did tell Ms. Mitchell to talk to me about, give me more information about what they're trying to do. Because there has been some alternative things that have happened on that campus. But that's, and I'm trying to recall as clear as I can. Because she was asking a number of questions, but the biggest one is, can that happen? Can the food truck be on their property?
That was my understanding.
Why
that-
can't they?
Why can't it, you know? It's no different than Chick-fil-A setting up down here, or the ones that come and set up at Badcock.
Because Tracy has been on that property. The diff-
Yeah, Tracy has,
Right, she's
yeah.
been on that property, but not as a permanent
Can't
setup.
you look at the ordinance?
She's not trying to do it permanently.
So sorry.
Look at the ordinance?
No,
that we
she's not
passed?
trying to do it permanently.
Didn't she do
She
that?
doing it as you know what I'm saying? Like the other food trucks that come here and they set up, she's trying to do that also, but she's not trying to be out there around the clock, no.
Well, see, another issue was it wasn't a permit request with information lined out. It was
Okay.
a simple,
Can I go?
right,
Okay.
like, you know, it wasn't.
Do that.
It wasn't like a
Mhm.
submission that was denied, it was just a comment from there, but what I did tell Ms. Mitchell is I'll look back, like I wanted to talk to Tracy and look at what they're exactly asking for.
Okay.
So, to answer Councilman Landry, I did not look at the ordinance at that moment, I just said that I understood we changed that ordinance to be more compliant with what the state has already basically overruled us on. And we were talking mostly about Highway 19 and other things. I don't remember in that discussion ever talking about zones. So that's when I said I understood she should be able, because the law has changed.
Mhm.
But since I've never had any prior discussion about whether or not something had to be zoned a certain way, you know.
You can put a food truck on almost every single property in the city of Perry.
Yes, the way it's written
The way it's
now.
written right now.
Mhm.
Well, probably 100% of them. I don't think there's anything on 19 that's not going commercial.
Well, there's state law overrides it anyway.
Mhm.
Well,
I do remember there were certain exceptions, and so for reasons other than why we were keeping them out of the local downtown area.
Okay.
I used to go to school at Jergens. And as you pass and come in, like coming in front of the
The
school,
little circle.
there used to be a store restaurant on that corner. I know it's probably not zoned for that, but I'm just saying it used to
It
be
is
something.
easy to say like it's not even a zoning issue, so
Actually,
Mhm.
city property is the only property you can't put a food truck on without our permission.
Anywhere
Every other
else
property,
is
you can
open
put it-
game.
You can put it in front of your house.
Mm-hmm.
No problem.
Mm-hmm. That was my understanding when I got the phone call. I was like, no, there's no stipulations on where you can put it at. So
City property.
that's it.
Well, we told different. We were told they had to be zones.
You don't have to get a permit from us. I don't know. who
No,
was
we don't
told.
require anything.
Mm-mm.
Is up,
Well,
we've
I
always
would
been
say-
told it's up to them to make sure that,
It
that
was.
if
we
the
were at
law,
meeting, see, I
all
told
goes to
her
them, that they should have all their
Let me-
documentation. It's up to them to make sure they have their documentation.
Exactly for when RB
Because
them
we
come in.
can't control them.
Yeah.
So,
RB, you know those names?
There ain't very much to inspect on a fire truck, I mean, on a food truck.
but will the state give them their license without that type of?
Evidently.
Evidently, they
They
have.
not have, yeah, I'm just wondering because
I
they
mean,
get a state license, a health department license. I mean,
The health department probably give them their license, and some of these coming from out of town have
Mhm.
had their local fire department or
Yes.
fire inspector
Mhm.
inspect them.
Mhm.
And
You
then
assume
just-
they've got the license.
Yeah. Who
That's
knows?
true. That's true.
If they got a license, that's right.
Well, if the local health department issues a license, they should notify you so that you can go and inspect it.
That don't happen.
I know, but
Everybody
they
ain't gonna do
should.
that.
Maybe if you
That would be the same
requested
thing
it.
if they call me and for a fire inspection, I go do a fire inspection, then that'd be me having to let the health department know that we ain't done a fire inspection. We just, I mean, there's nothing set up to do none of that stuff. I mean, it's
If it's
it's up
required,
to the owner of the food truck.
To get it done.
Call the health department and call the fire department. I mean, it ain't our responsibility to make sure they get their job done.
so they could operate for a long time without being inspected.
Apparently, Jarvis says some of them out there doing it
I mean, like I said, they may have been inspected.
by someone else,
by
yeah.
someone else.
Yeah, cause the state's.
And that's just the ones in the city that
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
They'll get-
responsible for.
They'll give a certificate to them of some sort, saying it's been inspected, or y'all just do it and say it's good?
We just do a fire safety inspection, and I mean, I can give them a copy of my
Report.
inspection sheet,
Mhm.
and that way, if anybody comes up there and says anything, they can show them where, you know, hey, well, I was inspected on this day, but I mean, there's no kind of certificate or nothing we give them.
Mm,
All right,
okay.
everybody good? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank y'all.